Now let's dive into a thought-provoking topic. Have you ever really taken a moment to examine the money in your wallet? What if I told you that the currency you're holding could be undergoing a major transformation? Yes, we're talking about removing zeros from the currency. This isn't just a minor change. It could be part of a larger process known as redenomination. In this video, we're going to explore what this redenomination means, how it could impact the Iraqi economy, and why it's such a significant issue for Iraqis and the world alike. So why is this topic so important? Well, the potential redenomination of currency doesn't just affect the value of money in an abstract sense. It could fundamentally change everyday life for people in Iraq. Currency is not just a tool for economic exchange, it's a reflection of trust, stability, and confidence. A major change like removing zeros could reshape the economic landscape. But what exactly is redenomination, and why should we care? Let's start with some basics. The nominal value of currency. The nominal value is simply the value printed on the banknote, which is the amount the issuing authority, like the central bank, decides the note is worth. For example, a 1,000 dinar note has a nominal value of 1,000 dinars. But now, imagine what happens if the government decides to remove zeros. This is where redenomination comes into play. It's when zeros are removed from the face value of a currency and a new version of the currency is issued. For example, let's assume that the current exchange rate is 1,000 dinars to $1. After redenomination, that could change to a 1-to-1 ratio, where 1 dinar equals $1. The currency notes would be simplified, making it easier to carry and use in daily transactions. Now let's pause and think about this for a second. Picture yourself walking around with money that has fewer zeros on it. What might seem like a small change could have a big impact on the way people handle money. For instance, the transition to this new currency would make it easier to process daily transactions, as you'd no longer have to deal with carrying large amounts of cash for small purchases. But what happens to the old notes? Typically, after the new currency is introduced, the old notes are phased out. However, during the transition period, both types of currency could be allowed to coexist, meaning people could still use the old currency while gradually adjusting to the new one. This would make the shift smoother for everyone. So why is this considered a beneficial step for Iraq? Well, removing zeros could help stabilize the economy in several ways. First, it would make the currency easier to handle and manage. When you have fewer zeros, accounting becomes much simpler, especially for businesses. Secondly, it would promote easier financial transactions, as there would be fewer figures involved when making calculations. And last but not least, redenomination could potentially restore public confidence in the currency. If people believe that the government is taking steps to stabilize the economy, they might be more likely to trust the currency and use it for transactions. Countries like Turkey and Brazil have undergone similar processes in the past. In both cases, removing zeros led to more manageable economy.
Turkey removed 6 zeros from its currency in 2005, and Brazil removed 3 zeros in 1994, both as part of broader efforts to combat hyperinflation. These examples suggest that redenomination can sometimes be an effective way to manage a currency that has lost value over time. However, as with any significant economic reform, there are challenges. Some people might worry that the removal of zeros could lead to confusion or even inflation. What happens when people can't understand the new values? If someone sees that their 1,000 dinars are now worth only 1 dinar, will they panic and think they've lost their money? There's a real concern about how people will perceive the change and how the government can communicate the benefits effectively. Public awareness campaigns are going to be key to ensuring that everyone understands what's happening and why it's happening. For example, let's say someone has saved 1 million dinars. After redenomination, it would look like they now only have 1,000 dinars. How do you explain to someone that, despite this appearance, their savings haven't been devalued? It's critical to reassure the public during this transition. Financial literacy campaigns could help ensure that people understand the value of their savings hasn't actually changed. Trust is another major factor in this process. Iraq's currency has faced serious devaluation over time, and people have seen the value of their money erode. For many, the idea of a sudden change to the currency might feel like another round of uncertainty. Is this a real fix, or is it just a temporary patch? The government will have to build trust with its citizens to ensure that they feel secure about this transition. The educational aspect cannot be overstated. Governments should roll out financial literacy programs that explain what's happening and why. They could create public campaigns, engage with communities through town hall meetings, and even leverage social media to make sure that the message reaches as many people as possible. It's not just about numbers, it's about ensuring that people feel confident and informed as they move forward with this new currency system. Additionally, businesses will play a crucial role in the transition. Retailers will need to adapt their pricing systems and train staff to understand the new currency. Without proper preparation, this could lead to chaos at the checkout counter. The government might also have to offer financial support to businesses that are making this transition to ensure the process goes smoothly for everyone. One thing that's often overlooked in discussions about redenomination is how it will affect the international perception of Iraq's economy. Foreign investors will be watching closely. Will the removal of zeros signal a stronger, more stable economy? Or will it be viewed as a sign of desperation? These questions will be answered in part by how smoothly the redenomination process is handled and how well Iraq can communicate its commitment to economic reform. So, after all this, what do you think? Could removing zeros from the Iraqi currency pave the way for a more stable, prosperous economy? Or will it cause confusion and frustration among the people? We want to hear your thoughts. This is a big topic, and your input is crucial.
Let's break it down further. When we talk about removing zeros, we're referring to taking 3 zeros off the face value of currency. For instance, a 25,000 dinar note would become 25 dinars. It might sound drastic, but it's actually a way to simplify the currency and make it more user-friendly. Currently, 25,000 dinars is equivalent to about $19 USD. But after the zeros are removed, you'd have just 25 dinars, which would still be worth the same amount, but it would be much easier to carry and handle. The big question is why now? Iraq has faced inflation challenges for years, and removing zeros is an effort to streamline the currency and combat the economic pressure that inflation has caused. It's an attempt to make everyday transactions more efficient and less cumbersome. Think about the difficulty of carrying large amounts of dinars for small purchases. This new currency would make that hassle a thing of the past. So how would this change affect daily life in Iraq? For starters, the price of everyday goods would look simpler. Imagine going to the store and seeing a loaf of bread priced at just 1 dinar instead of 1,000. That could make budgeting and financial planning a lot easier for families, as they wouldn't have to worry about carrying large sums of cash for small items. It could make things feel more manageable on a daily basis. However, as we've mentioned, there are valid concerns about confusion. Will people understand the new prices? Will they feel that the new currency is unfair or inadequate? These are real worries that need to be addressed in order to prevent backlash. And finally, let's talk about trust once again. If people in Iraq have seen their currency lose value over the years, they might be skeptical about this change. They might wonder if this is a real fix or just another temporary measure that won't solve the underlying problems. It's going to be essential for the government to make sure the public understands the reasons behind the redenomination and what it will mean for their daily lives. If the government moves forward with this change, they'll need to communicate effectively and educate the public about what to expect. That includes showing people how to handle the new currency, how to manage savings, and how businesses should adjust their pricing. So what happens next? Well, this decision isn't just about numbers on a piece of paper. It's a massive undertaking that requires cooperation between the government, businesses, and citizens. Everyone will need to be on board to make this transition smooth. It's not going to be easy, but it could set Iraq on a path toward a more stable economic future. Economists are divided on whether this will be a game changer or just another Band-Aid solution. Some believe it could strengthen the economy, while others argue that it won't have much impact. But we want to know what you think. How do you feel about the idea of removing zeros from the Iraqi currency? Do you think it will benefit the economy, or will it create more confusion? Leave a comment below and let us know your thoughts. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, share it with others who might be curious about this issue, and leave a comment to keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to hearing your perspective.